Thanks again for coming. Let me get into this book. The first chapter is chapter 2. The name of the chapter is My Mentality has shifted, but I'm still the same. Change is real, but so is memory. You can rewire your thoughts, reform your habits, even walk into new light and still find shadows trailing behind you. It's not hypocrisy, it's humanity. I used to think change meant becoming unrecognizable. That if I was really healed, I'd walk and talk like a whole new man. Maybe wear glasses and say things like fascinating while sipping tea in the library. But that ain't how it happened. My mind changed before my body did, before my reflexes caught up, before my scars got the memo. So, see, when you survive chaos long enough, your body learns to live in defense mode. And even after the therapy attempts, the reflective process of examining myself in prison, I still sleep light. I still scan a room like I might need an exit. I still don't trust too easily. Some days, I still flinch when I hear keys jingle behind me, like a guard's coming to chain me up. That doesn't mean I'm not healed. It means healing has layers. I'm no longer the young adult who would shoot first and ask questions never. I'm not that man who could only speak through violence, who thought anger was the language of power. That part of me died, but his bones are still in the dirt somewhere beneath me. Some days, situations in life cause him to rap. This new mentality I carry is a miracle. Miracles don't erase the past, they repurpose it. I used to interpret every lick of the brick. Now I interpret it with curiosity. Is he sizing me up? Or just wondering if he knows me from somewhere? That split-second pause, that's growth. That's the distinction between who I was and who I'm becoming. But let me be real. Some of that old me still serves me. That street sense, that hyper-awareness, it saved my life more than once. It's not all trauma, but some of it is wisdom earned the hard way. It's like I upgraded my software, but I didn't throw out the hard drive. I just learned to use it for a different purpose. I still got the same name, same fingerprints, same laugh, same rhythm in my walk. I still like my music loud and my food seasoned heavy. I'm still the one who can walk into a rough room and feel the energy before a word is spoken. That's not the unhealed me, that's the real me. What's changed is why I'm walking in and what I say once I get there. Sometimes people expect transformation to come with a new costume. Like they want you in a suit now. Want your language polished, your emotions smooth. They want the old you buried, not redeemed. But I'm not putting on a mask to make people comfortable with my growth, because some people's minds aren't capable of understanding my growth or your growth. I didn't change to please the world, I changed so I could survive myself. I changed because I want my dad's energy to be proud and present within me. So I could look in the mirror and not see my past staring back. So I could breathe in peace and not panic. So I could walk free inside and out. But I'm still the same in ways that matter. My loyalty, my ambition, my fight. The difference is now I'm fighting for something that builds instead of something that destroys. I'm building a life, building bridges, building boys into men, men into brothers, and brothers into healers. So yeah, my mentality has changed, but I'm still the same, and maybe that's the point. You can recondition your mind and still carry residue in your bones. You can be woke and still weary, healed and still hunted. I used to feel guilty about that, like I wasn't doing recovery right. But now I know better. Healing is not a straight line, it spirals, it visits, it tests you. Sometimes I pass, sometimes I pause, but I will never go back. If I'm being honest, some people miss the old me, not because they love me, because the old me was easier for them to predict and control. The wild one, the reckless one, the crash dummy. That version of me was convenient for their story. But now that I'm conscious, I'm complicated. Now that I've got boundaries, I'm different. Now that I've got vision, acting like I'm on my high horse. Someone actually told me that. Nah, man. I'm just finally seeing with clear eyes, and that makes some folks uncomfortable. But the truth is, I still wrestle. I still battle with moments where the old instincts come knocking. Quick reactions, pride flaring up, and the temptation to flash out when I feel disrespected. That war is real, but now I've got armor. I've got tools. I've got memory. Not of my pain, but of my progress. See, I used to be reactive. Now I respond. There's a difference. The old me would have gave a person what they were asking for. The new me refused to allow anyone to trick me off the streets. I don't chase validation anymore. I chase purpose. I don't measure myself by what I've done, but about who I refuse to become again. Still, there are days when I question it all. Will I ever be fully free of who I used to be? Will the world ever see who I am without trying to remind me of who I was? The answer, maybe not, but that's okay. Because I'm not living to prove anything to anyone anymore. I'm living to be aligned with the universal energy source within me, with truth, with the man I wake up to every morning in the mirror. That man, he's not perfect, but he's solid. So yes, my mentality has changed drastically, beautiful, painful, but I'm still the same in the soul. Still carrying the lessons from every fight, every seal, and every vision I see clearly in my mind. I'm still the same, but different. I'm still the same, but evolved. I'm still the same, but I don't walk in chains anymore. The science, why your mentality changed, but you're still the same. See, your brain is made to protect you, especially when you grow up in survival mode. It's trauma, street life, and addiction. All of that rewires your brain. Literally, scientists call it neuroplasticity. Your brain's ability to change based on what it's exposed to. So when you're hustling, running from pain, constantly on edge, and your brain gets used to living in fight or flight mode, you stay ready, alert. You start reacting instead of responding. Over time, your amygdala, the fear and threat center in the brain, grows more active. And your prefrontal cortex, the part that helps with decision making and impulse control, takes a back seat. That's not a weakness, that's an adaptation. Your brain adjusts to the world you were in. But here's the good news. The same brain that learned to survive can also learn to heal. When your mentality starts to shift through therapy, visualization, self-awareness, and stillness, your brain starts building new neural pathways. That's the science behind your growth. You're literally creating new thoughts, new reactions, new habits, but here's the catch. The old wiring doesn't disappear overnight. You can build a new mindset, but that old muscle memory, those emotional triggers, those reflexes, the intention in your body can still show up. That's why some days you feel like a new man, and other days you feel like you never left the block. It's not that you're faking, it's that your brain is still catching up. And your body remembers too. Trauma just don't live in your head, it lives in your nervous system. It shows up in how your shoulders stay tight, how you sleep with one ear open, how your heart races when someone steps too close. When your body stores pain, even after your mind has moved on, it's called somatic memory. So when you say my mentality has changed, but I'm still the same, what you're really saying is my mind is healing, but my past still echoes in my body, my instincts, my emotions. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you haven't changed. It means you're human. It means you evolved, but you still carry the fingerprints of where you've been. It also means the real work isn't just about changing your thoughts. It's about retraining your reactions, claiming calming your nervous system and forgiving yourself on a cellular level. That takes time. That takes attention. That takes grace. And that's what makes your journey safe. A therapeutic perspective. When someone says, my mentality has changed but I'm still the same, a therapist hears the tension between cognitive growth and emotional continuum. In therapy, there is a differentiation between cognitive insight, what you know in your mind, and somatic emotional integration, what you feel in your body or carry in your spirit. You can learn new ways of thinking. That's cognitive restructuring. You can even adopt healthier beliefs, make better decisions, and live with greater clarity. But that doesn't mean your emotional body, nervous system, or internalized identity has caught up yet. From a trauma-informed lens, this is coming. Your mindset has changed. You've developed awareness. You recognize unhealthy patterns. You've chosen new values, new responses, and a new life direction. That's healing. But you're still the same person. You still carry the history, pain, the muscle memory, the habits, the survival instincts. That's what makes your journey human. You've evolved, but you still remember. Sometimes that memory shows up as instinct before your new mindset can intervene. Therapy will honor both realities. That transformation is real, and that the past doesn't erase just because you're doing better. The work becomes about integrating those two truths so you're not ashamed of what still lingers and you're not rushing. It's a little therapy dialogue. Scene title still the same. The hum of the sound machine in the corner filled the silence between us. I had just said it. My mentality has changed, but I'm still the same. It hung in the air like smoke from a blunt. You could smell the truth. Dr. Ellis leaned forward, eyes steady. Let's talk about trust. Who do you trust right now, Maurice? I gave a slight laugh, not because it was funny, but because it was complicated. Trust, I said, that's a short list. I trust myself, mostly the universal energy source, on my good days, and my mom. That's about it. No men, no friends. I've had homies, I said, but we were trauma bonded. We got close over pain, shared war stories. But when I started healing, they started disappearing, or I did. That's coming, she said. When your foundation is pain, peace feels like betrayal. I nodded. She was right. It's hard to keep people around when the glue is dysfunction. You've been through abandonment, she continued. So do you ever worry that healing might isolate you? Every day I admit it. Sometimes I feel like the more I grow, the lonelier I get. Like I'm outgrowing people, but I haven't found my new tribe yet. She sat with that, then asked, do you believe you're worthy of love? Not respect, not fear, just love. That question hit like a punch in the ribs. I looked away. I'm working on it, I said. I know I'm worthy in theory, but when people get too close, I still feel like I gotta earn it, perform, prove myself. Like love is a reward I gotta hustle for. That's what happens when love was unconditional growing up, she said. You learn that affection came with achievement, or not at all. I looked back at her. It's wild how deep that runs. I can give love, but I don't know how to receive it. It feels foreign. It makes me suspicious. Your body remembers, she said. Your nervous system is still trying to protect the little boy who learned not to trust anyone. I exhaled again, longer this time. Not out of frustration, but truth. Some days I feel like I've made it out, I told her. Other days I feel like I'm faking. Like I'm playing the healed version of me, but the old me is waiting in the wings like, tag me in. Dr. Ellis smiled gently. Healing isn't about pretending the old you is gone. It's about showing the old you that you're safe now, that you got this. Is it normal, I asked, to grieve the person I used to be? Yes, she said, because even if he was broken, he kept you alive. That burden of you got you healed. And now your job is to thank him and release him. I closed my eyes. In that moment, I felt both versions of me sitting in that room. The boy who never felt safe, the man trying to feel whole. I want to move forward, I whispered, but part of me is scared I don't know how to live free. I've never had peace before. I don't even know what to do with it. She said something I'll never forget. Peace isn't the absence of struggle, Maurice. It's the presence of safety, even while you're still hidden. I opened my eyes for once. I didn't flinch at being seen. I nodded slowly. I think I'm ready to live free, but I might need help learning how. That's why we're here, she said. Not to erase your past, but to build a life where your past doesn't control you. I sit in the silence that followed, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel threatened. It felt like freedom. Chapter 7, Turn of the Rock. Scene 1, back in Little Rock. Little Rock smelled the same. Hot pavement, pine needle, and a hint of fried grease coming from somewhere you can't quite place. I hadn't walked these blocks in years, but every corner still whispered my name like I never left. I was back. Not to relive anything, I came back to speak at a community event, to give hope, to plant seeds. But I knew walking these streets meant walking through ghosts. My session earlier with Dr. Ellis was still fresh in my chest. I felt solid, grounded. Trauma doesn't carry with me. Just came for therapy. It waits in alleys, corners, and people. As I stepped out of the rented Camry near Twickenham Pine, the old stomping grounds, that's when I heard it. Yo, hey, that who I think it is? I didn't even have to turn. I knew the voice, Kareem. Still wearing the same street armor, grill, chain, and that what's up stance that really meant, you good? He walked up fast but not aggressive. Just laughed, old energy unchecked. What's up, fam? I thought you was locked down or moved out to the bird with the rest of the setups. I smiled politely, but didn't bite. Nah, just been working on myself, speaking, writing, trying to get back to the city that raised me. He smirked. Man, you sound like a motivational speaker now. That ain't the Reese I knew. You remember how we used to? I cut him off gently. I remember. That's why I changed. He laughed, not with me, at me. You changed. You act like you weren't just like me. I was, I said, but being stuck in who I was, that's the real trap. The grin faded. So what? You too good now? Too healed for the hood? I looked him in the eyes, not with heat, with honesty. I'm not too good for anything. I'm just no longer willing to be a prisoner of the past. He didn't like that. Silence. The kind that used to turn violent, but this time didn't. He looked me up and down, spit on the curb, then said, you ain't hard no more? That's what it is? I nodded slowly. You're right, I'm not hard. I'm healed. That's strong. I walked away. Scene 2. That night, reflection journal. That night, I stood on the edge of my Airbnb bed, lights off. Street lights peeking in through the blinds like broken balls. The city was still buzzing outside, but I was quiet inside. Journal entry. Little Rock holds every version. The angry boy, the reckless teen, the hollow man looking for meaning in drugs, violence, validation. I buried pieces of myself on these blocks. Today, I came back as a man in recovery, not just from drugs, but from identity. Seeing Kareem, it hurt in a way I didn't expect. Not because he threatened me, but because he reminded me of who I was, and who I had to become just to survive. I walked away from that old version of me today, not because I hated him, but because I've outgrown his armor. I don't need to posture. I don't need to prove anything anymore. I don't need to win every confrontation to feel like a man. Today, I won by walking away. Not from Kareem, from the part of me that still thinks I need to fight to be free. Scene 3, speaking engagement, the next day. The community center was packed. Folding chairs filled every row, posters with the local activists and kids art lined the walls. Some people had heard of me, others were just there because they heard free food would be served afterwards. I stood at the front holding the mic with both hands, not because I was nervous, but because I needed to stay grounded. I looked out and saw faces I recognized, not names, just that look. They're hard to trust. What's this guy gonna say to me? I knew it well. I took a breath and began. I want to tell you about something that happened yesterday, right here in Little Rock, because it's one thing to talk about healing, it's another thing to live it. The room got quiet. I just came from a therapy session, one of the best I've had. I was feeling focused, light even, like I finally laid something heavy down. But then I smiled, not out of humor, just realness. Then I pulled up on that block I used to run, and I ran into someone I used to call brother, someone I used to hustle with, Kareem. Some heads in the crowd nodded, a few eyes narrowed. They knew the name. He tried to pull me back into the old me, questioned if I was soft, said I wasn't the same, said I had changed. I paused. I have changed, not because I forgot who I was, but because I finally remembered who I'm supposed to be. A murderer, head nodded. I walked away from that conversation, and you know what? Every step I took away from that old mindset felt like a war, but I walked away. Now the room was leaning in. People weren't just hearing me, they were feeling it. Some of y'all are sitting in this room still carrying your survival self. That version of that version of you that had to be hard, that couldn't trust, that version that kept you alive. I get it. I pointed to my chest. He's still in here too, but he doesn't get to drive anymore. Sadness. I'm not here to tell you I'm perfect. I'm not. I still get triggered. I still catch myself slipping to that old energy. I smiled again. Eyes softened. But healing ain't about being perfect. It's about choosing peace when your past is begging you to pop off. It's about walking away when the old you wants to square up. Then I stepped away from the mic and said this with my whole chest. You can be from the streets and still choose peace. You can be loyal and still outgrow the people you ran with. You can change your mind and still be real. The room is hell. Not applause yet, just truth hitting real cases. Then I said, yesterday I passed the test, but that was just one day. I'm still learning, still healing, still showing up. Now came the applause. Not polite, not performance, but respect. I stepped off the mic and back into my purpose. The first seat, location, community center, after the talk. The applause had faded, but people lingered. Some were whispering, a few were wiping their faces. Others stood still, staring into the space you just filled with something they didn't know they needed. I stepped down from the makeshift stage. A few folks shook my hands, gave nods, and thanked. Then I saw him, young dude, maybe 19, baggy hoodie, eyes too tired for his age. Face didn't move much, but his feet didn't either. He stood right in front of me. Hey, he said, voice low. That thing you said about the old you not driving no more, I nodded, giving him my full attention. Yeah. He looked around like he wasn't sure he should keep going, but he did. That hit, for real. I still let my old self drive too much. Like, I'll tell myself I'm done with the dumb stuff, but then someone tests me, and it's like, boom, I'm back in it. I black out, and I hate it. I let him speak, then interrupt. Let the weight land. I'm tired, he added, but I don't know how to be nobody else. I only know how to be him, that hard one, the wild one, the one who people respect. I leaned in. What's your name? Deshaun. Deshaun. How old were you the first time someone made you feel like being soft was dangerous? He blinked. That question rocked him. 6, he whispered. My uncle smacked me in front of some cousins for crying on my mom letter. Said if I act like that again, I'll get smacked hard. I nodded slowly. So you've been carrying that little boy inside a grown man's body ever since. He looked at the ground, then back at me. So what do I do now? I put a hand on his shoulder. You learn how to protect him, not by getting violent. You learn how to protect him, not by getting violent, but by giving him what he never had. Safety. Mission to be soft sometimes. Space to feel. That's real strength. The Sean didn't say anything right away. He stood there, absorbing. Truth is, I added, your old self got you through some dark stuff, but now it's time for your real self to lead you. You don't have to throw the old you away. Just don't let him run the show. His eyes soften. How long it take for you to get there? I'm still getting there, I said, but every time I walk away from what used to pull me back in, that's a step. He nodded, then surprised me with this. You got IG? I smiled. Yeah, I got IG. We exchanged info. He backed away slowly, nodded. Then he turned and disappeared into the crowd. But I knew something had shifted. Not a full transformation, not a movie ending, just a seat. And sometimes that's where the resurrection begins. Scene, returning to College Station, Bucktown. The streets of College Station don't forget. They remember your footsteps. They remember your fear. They remember your name, whether you want them to or not. Locals still call it Bucktown. That name rang like a warning shot, something between a rep and the resurrection chant. Back in the day, it meant loyalty, hustle, survival. Now it's something heavy, something sacred. I parked a few blocks away on the edge of Fraser Pike. I didn't want to pull up looking like a guest in my own store. I walked slow, not because I was scared, but because every step cracked open a memory. And there it was, Young U Liquor Store. That little rundown corner store was my first taste of the game. I used to post up right out front, selling crack, watching traffic, memorizing who drove what, and who owed who. I learned how to move weight and mask fear under those buzzing neon signs. That's why I first got good at pretending nothing scared me. Fraser Pike was more than just a street. It was a school, it was a trap. It was my proving ground. I stood on the same sidewalk where I once made a sale while ducking from police cruisers, where I caught my first charge, where I lied to my mama's face like it was second nature. Same block, same broken glass. Same ghost, I kept walking. Each yard I passed felt like a museum of memories. They gave me the rusted chain, I jumped it after a bad deal with them. That utility pole, I stood behind it in the night I thought I might get shot or shoot at someone. That front porch with the sagging roof, someone overlead over there. I still remember the sirens. Bucktown made me, but it didn't finish me. And that's the difference. I stopped in front of my childhood property. It looked smaller like most childhood places do, but it still held weight. Not in its walls, in my chest. This is where I learned to shut down, where I learned anger was safer than vulnerability, where boys weren't allowed to be boys, only soldiers, hustlers, ghosts. Right there on Fraser Pike, I whispered like a prayer. I forgive you, Bucktown. Not because the streets apologized, not because the pain disappeared, but because I refused to be chained to who I had to be just to survive. The liquor store, the block, the house. They didn't change, but I did. And that's resurrection. Not erasing where you come from, but facing it and choosing not to let it shape where you're going. Same soil, different roots. As I stood there on Fraser Pike, staring at the old house and at the faded ghost of my younger self, I felt something strange. I didn't feel the shame. I didn't feel fear. I didn't even feel pride. I felt recognition. Like I was meeting myself again. Not the me I performed for the world, but the original version, the raw, the real, the one who used to pray for escape but never imagined return. People talk about transformation like it's some magic trick. Like one day you're a monster and the next day you're a monk. That's not how it works. You just don't flip a switch and become a whole new person. You carry parts of the old you like scars under your Sunday suit. My mentality has changed, but I'm still the same. I don't think the same. I don't move the same. But the pain that built me, the code that raised me, that's still in me. I just had to rewire it. I still wake up some mornings ready to defend myself, even if there is no threat. I still size people up out of habit. I still got shadows in my thinking that whisper old lies like lullabies. But here's the difference. I don't let those shadows drive me. I used to lead with pride, now I lead with peace. I used to choose violence first, even when love was an option. Now I pause, breathe, consider. But don't get it twisted. I'm still Maurice from Bucktown, the same one who learned how to read danger before he could spell his name. The one who used to run from his emotions like they had warrants. The same one who saw too much, too young, and had to grow armor before he ever grew confidence. Now I'm not trying to bury the old me. I'm trying to honor him and make sure he finally gets to rest. Because he fought hard, he kept me alive, and he never got a chance to exhale. Now he can. Because the man I am today is strong enough to carry him and smart enough to lead him out of the fire. It's an internal monologue, late night reflection. Later that night, back in the Airbnb, I sat on the bed with the lights off. The silence was loud. The past was loud. I thought about Kareem's words. I thought about Deshaun after the speech. I thought about that sidewalk on Fraser Pike where I once nearly died for something I can't even remember now. And then I whispered out loud, I'm not who I was, but I needed who I was to get here. That's what most people don't understand about growth. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming someone true. The real you, the whole you, the you that can admit you are broken and still believe in your own hidden. Final scene, dream sequence, the handoff. That night, in the quiet of the Airbnb room, the past visited me in my sleep. Not like a nightmare, more like a reckoning. I was standing in the middle of Fraser Pike, barefoot. The pavement was warm, the air was thick, but not threatening. In the distance, I saw a boy running toward me, wild, shirtless, breathless. It was me. Not me now, me then. Maybe 13 years old, skinny, alert, tensed up like he expected pain around every corner. He stepped a few feet away and stared at me like I was a stranger. I wanted to reach out to him, tell him it's going to be okay, but I knew he wouldn't believe me, not yet. So I just nodded. He walked closer, slowly, and held something out in his hand, a small rusty key. I didn't recognize it, but I felt the weight of it in my chest. Without saying a word, he dropped it in my hand, and in that moment, the air around us changed. The streetlights above us flickered, and I felt the presence of something larger, not a man in the sky, but a pulse, a warmth, a wave of knowing, a universal energy source. It was in the cracked street under my feet. It was in the breath between me and my younger self. It was in the key he handed me, a symbol of something locked long ago, now ready to open. Thank you, I said, finally, not just to him, but to the force that had kept us alive this long, to the source that saw something worth saving even when I didn't. He didn't speak, just turned and ran back into the fog, lighter this time, like he finally didn't have to carry it all. I woke up with tears in my eyes and a sentence in my heart. I am healed, but I will never forget who bled for that healing. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, man.
Bravo.
Thank you.